Welcome to my Soil Centric Vertical Garden. Today I want to reflect on one of the more thought-provoking talks that I listened to at Groundswell this week. For those who don't know, Groundswell is a really important regenerative agricultural conference where people get together and give talks on different ways that we can make our food system a bit more ecologically aligned. And there's booths and technology on display. There's organizations that help people connect with working on land. It's a really great conference. But even if you don't go there, you can listen to a lot of their talks. Already, I think it's been going on for about 10 years now. They've been publishing the talks on their YouTube channel, and I think that that's a really valuable source of information. If you want to get a better sense of what the food system looks like and what we're trying to do to improve it when we're talking about large-scale food production for the most part, but I don't want to talk about large-scale food production in particular today, and that's because that's not what I do. There's something that exists in the potential of a human interaction with their food system that is largely untapped right now in the food systems at play. Certainly when we're talking about food systems that exist on dozens plus of acres at a time. So Charles Dowding talked about the power of language. And we had a brief interaction about this months and months ago when I first was giving him one of these planters. He kind of questioned why I was calling it Soil Centric Vertical Agriculture. But in my mind, agriculture is important. That is, it gives it gravitas, it gives it power, and gardening is kind of whimsical and not so serious. And I wanted people to take this seriously, so I was attaching the word agriculture to it. That's really where I was coming from. But when I was listening to Charles, one of the points that he made was that gardening has this implication about the human interaction, this intimate interaction with the plants and the care that a person puts in. And that's what the human potential is. And that's what I'm trying to help amplify. And he talked about agriculture, and I'm realizing that that's what's happening at scale. And whether it's following a certain set of organic principles on dozens of acres with just a handful of crops, or it's conventional, still on dozens or even more acres at a time with a handful of crops and heavy inputs and heavy intelligence. That scale of things where the human is so distant from the ecosystem that there's no longer any relationship with all of the members of the ecosystem that they're supposed to be taking care of, and that's where drastic efficiency is lost, and where gardening comes into its own, where that human efficiency of being an active participant, an intimate participant within the ecosystem, really comes through. So I'd been calling this soil-centric vertical agriculture for, I think, the wrong reasons, and I think that gardening is really the thing that needs to be rebranded, because gardening is not just whimsical and nice and not so serious. It's powerful, and gardening can change the world. Ages ago I made this shirt. It says, change your garden, change your world, change the world. I believe in this to my core, that this is the sort of food system that can keep us going forward. So yeah, I'm not going to call this soil-centric vertical agriculture anymore. This is soil-centric vertical gardening.